Excellence Workshops by Benchmark Six Sigma. So we are just about to begin and just waiting for few more people to join in. So we'll be beginning just about 1 minute from now. So please note that we will not be able to have voice conference because there are going to be a good number of people. So we will be using chat for our interactions. So if you want to send any message, please use the chat window and I will try to reply as soon as possible. Okay, so time to begin. So in this webinar, Business Excellence Workshops by Benchmark Six Sigma, these are the topics which I'm planning to cover. So as you see on the screen, we shall be beginning with few basics about this webinar, and then we will go into these workshop topics one after the other, which means I'll be talking about these various business excellence workshops one after the other, and we'll have small Q&A in each workshop topic. So to begin with, let us start with the basics. The first thing first, we plan to use only the chat feature in WebEx. WebEx does have other features like whiteboard, and it has features like voice conference and video sharing. We are only going to use chat from the participant end. We will not even be using the raise hand feature. So only chat. After that, I'll be telling about myself a little bit, and then we will be also understanding how we will be handling question and answer during this webinar. So as I discussed earlier, we shall be using the chat window as our main feature for interaction, and we will not use the raise hand feature. Okay, so briefly about me, my name is Vishwadeep Khatri. I'm basically an engineer, MBA, a Master Black Belt, and also a trainer for Master Black Belt programs, which we have been doing for several years now. So I conduct Master Black Belt programs. I do conduct Black Belt, Green Belt, and other business improvement workshops as well. I have done third-party audits as a management system auditor for more than 400 organizations. I've trained more than 8,000 professionals in various organizations in India and abroad, and I've been a business excellence advisor for leading companies, and I continue to be a consultant for many leading organizations. So just to give you some perspective, we do programs with companies like Google, and this workshop was primarily about for the marketing and sales people, and the focus was on business improvement. Similarly, we do programs for Accenture, where the focus was on IT infrastructure, and again, the objective was improvement in processes to get better results. We've been working with companies like Sapient for their HR and finance functions, and have been helping their compliance teams in doing better. In a similar way, I have been associated with large number of companies like Airtel, Tata Motors, SR, Suzlon, JP Morgan Chase. And you can see photographs of these workshops, APC, which is part of Schneider Electric, NIIT, Alstom, ONGC. So what you can see is various kind of industry sectors. We have been active, and here are some more. So Orange is actually France Telecom, operations in India. Beam Global is the company which makes the very famous Scotch, the Teacher's brand. Indofood is a global leader in instant noodles. William Hare is a construction company based in UK. Syngenta is into Agri Products, American Express, we all know. So as you can see on the next screen, this one, we have even companies like Bata, where we are doing a global manufacturing excellence program currently. And we have FMCG companies like Coca-Cola and ITC. Big consulting firms like PwC, Accenture, and Ernst & Young, and also hotels like Radisson. In fact, we just started with the Oberoi Group recently, and many telecom companies, as you can see on the screen. So all kind of companies we've been associated. You can see banks like HSBC, Standard Chartered, JP Morgan Chase, the world's biggest banks. So that's just a brief background. So let us now see how we plan to handle Q&A in this webinar. It will happen after each section of this webinar, and I'll be inviting questions at the right time. So let us begin with the first topic, which is Lean Practitioner and Lean Guide. So this is our first program in this sequence, and I'm going to brief you about this one as the first item for today. So Lean Practitioner, as you might be aware, Lean is about speed. So this program focuses on building flow in your processes and removing waste. So for those of you who are familiar with Lean, you know that it's about waste elimination, it's about improving flow in the process, and it's about improving the speed of your process. So while Six Sigma focuses on defect reduction, Lean focuses on speed of your process. So that's why Lean and Six Sigma came together many years ago. But this program is actually a very powerful program, and this is for all the improvement enthusiasts. So if you are wanting to take part in improvements of any kind in your company, this might be the #1 program which you would like to consider, for the simple reason that Lean is easy to explain to others. While Six Sigma is a more demanded certification in the marketplace, but Lean is something which is easier to explain and easier to implement. So I would say every improvement enthusiast or everyone who wants to take part in process improvements must go through Lean Practitioner or the Lean Guide program. So this program is happening in Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, as you can see, in coming days. And why Lean? We have just discussed that this is about elimination of waste, and it provides all the world best techniques for waste elimination. Or in other words, make your processes more effective and efficient. So this program, which is offered for 2 days at a stretch, the Lean Practitioner, is an extremely powerful and effective program. We've been doing this in corporate world very actively, and nowadays this is the most popular program in the corporate world among our programs. So you can understand how this ranks up right at the top. So before I move to the next topic, I would like to invite questions on Lean Practitioner. So anyone having a question on this topic, please feel free to type in the chat window, and I would try to answer that question straight away. So anyone having a question related to Lean Practitioner, Lean Guide programs? So yeah, I'm seeing some questions have come up. One from Vidya Shankar, another one from Abhilash. Yes, so one question which has come up from Vidya Shankar is that, does this include process modeling? So Lean includes process modeling. I would say yes, but briefly, which means it will focus on process modeling as far as value add, non-value adds are concerned. But process modeling, if you want to really do in detail, there is a different program called business modeling, which I'll be discussing separately. So Lean covers process modeling briefly. only briefly, while another program called Business Modeling Workshop covers it in detail. So we'll be discussing this after some time. Yeah, so I can see some more questions coming up. I will be able to take one more. So I'll take one more. Of course, please remember these questions, although I will not be taking up these questions right away for all of you, but we are noting them down and I'll be responding to each question later. And in some cases, we'll be arranging a separate interaction to answer your questions. So right now, Pawanchita is asking, any plans for Lean in Pune? Not currently. We may have something coming up in near future. So one last question on this is, are there any prerequisites? So Ritvik has asked just now, are there any prerequisites for this? So the good answer for this is, if you want to participate in Lean, there are practically no prerequisites in terms of anything that you learn prior to this. This can be your first program in business excellence, and that would be very effective for you. All right, so we'll be definitely trying to take more questions at the end if we have some time. Otherwise, we'll contact and respond directly. Let me move to the next topic, which is called the BPR expert. BPR expert is for people who want to get into business process reengineering of one kind or the other. Now, business process reengineering is similar to a DMADV sequence of Lean Six Sigma methodologies. So for whom it is useful? Anyone who would be interested in designing or redesigning processes, who might like to design or redesign processes, can benefit from this. Why BPR expert? Because this focuses on experimentation. So the major focus of this program is on design of experiments. How to design experiments, how to carry out experiments, how to use the results of the experiments for re-engineering your process. So it will be ideally suited for even those people who have studied design of experiments in Black Belt, for example, but did not get to practice it, or people who want to learn DOE more and more, or want to learn it more completely, thoroughly, would benefit from this workshop. Design of experiments. So that's going to be the primary focus of business process reengineering. Just to give you an idea, what is BPR? BPR is fundamental rethinking. So BPR is not making small process changes, but it's about fundamental rethinking and radical redesign of processes, which means this focuses on complete revamp of the process. So you start from a clean slate. You just forget your existing process and start from scratch. That's how BPR actually works. So I hope you got some idea about this program. This is a 2 days program, focuses mainly on design of experiments, and anyone who wants to learn about designing or redesigning processes is welcome. So any questions for BPR expert, understanding the applicability or utility? So please feel free to write. So questions for BPR. Okay. So Rajiv Nair has asked a question straight away. Can a trainee black belt opt for BPR training? Yes, a black belt can opt for BPR. What kind of examples will be taken in DOE? Okay, that's a very good question. So what kind of examples is the question asked by Rajiv Nair? And the answer is both kinds. One on few on manufacturing and few on service. So we will be focusing on service sector examples of business process engineering. We will take examples on design of experiments for service sector. For example, we will look at how the experiments can be done in a call center and to get great results from the experimentation. We will also look at how design of experiments can be done in a web service company, for example. And we will be, of course, focusing on manufacturing, which is quite common for design of experiments. So yes, if you have learned DOE in Black Belt but have never used it, then you can come for this program and you can just feel free to join in this one, because we will not expect any prior knowledge. So when we start with this BPR program, we will not expect any prior knowledge, which means even if you have not done Black Belt, you can come in. If you have done Black Belt but have not used it or want to understand the utility in service sector, it is a great opportunity again to join in here. So yeah, questions about cost, of course, they can be covered later and directly with the marketing people. And any other questions on BPR, I would be probably taking later. So yes, one more question. Will it be covering mixture designs now or any special designs? So we will not be covering special designs. For example, there is something called mixture design, which is specifically of use in specialty chemicals. Now, industries like specialty chemicals or pharma can make use of mixture designs. Now, this kind of design is very specific to one industry, and we would not take such designs in our BPR program. However, if that workshop is done in your company, if we do a customized program in your company, then we can actually include other topics of this kind, but not in public training, because this kind of design is not useful in service sector environment, and therefore we will take only those topics which are applicable for all kinds of sectors in public training. Okay, thank you for those questions. I am now moving to the next topic, which is called TOC Thinker, Theory of Constraints. Here, theory of constraints is generally for people who are into some kind of leadership role. So if you are leading a team or you're leading a strategic business unit, then it would be extremely powerful and useful, because the focus in theory of constraints is on finding the constraints in a system and then elevating the constraint to such an extent that other things are considered subordinate to that constraint. So just to understand this with a simple example, theory of constraints. So let us say you along with a group of people are climbing on a mountain, you're on a mountaineering activity, and you find that someone is left behind and is walking very slow. So let us say all these team members wait for this person to come up, because you all are a part of a team. So everyone waits in this mountaineering trip for a person who is a bit slow, and when that person joins you, you ask him, why is it that you're going slow? So this person says, see, I've got this backpack in which I have got food items, but this is making me move slow. So then all the team members decide, let us try and reduce the weight, and they actually start consuming some of the food items, which actually is a good idea for many. And after that, this person actually becomes fast. Now, after this person starts moving faster than others, but there is someone else who is now slower. Now, whoever is slower, we need to focus on that person and find out why he is slow, so that the constraint in the system can be addressed. So in a similar kind of thinking, the focus is on bottlenecks or activities that create constraints in a system. And this is a wonderful way of thinking for someone who is heading a business unit. And theory of constraint is considered so important by some people that they are converting Lean Six Sigma into TLS. So there are people who say that in future we are going to have theory of constraints, Lean Six Sigma as the program. So instead of Lean Six Sigma, it will be called TLS Green Belt, TLS Black Belt. I mean, this is just one way of thinking right now, but it is gaining some shape at some places, and we might see theory of constraint coming up to the level of Lean and Six Sigma in some time. So a very good to learn topic, and you may like to register for this kind of workshop if you see interest in system thinking. So the main idea here is, if you are doing a Six Sigma project on something which is not important from the system point of view, then it may not give business benefits. If you really want business benefits, we'll have to find the constraint in the system, attack the constraint first, and only then we get good business benefits. So what does TOC do? TOC will help in identifying the constraint, and it will also help in addressing the constraint. So it's a senior management tool for identifying and addressing. TOC is one of the important components of the Master Black Belt program also. So it's a compulsory or a mandatory element for MBB. So just to see if any questions have come up. If you have any questions, please mention them in the chat window. So I'm just writing about TOC in the chat window. Yeah, so TOC Thinker, one question has already come up. TOC Thinker will be only a training, or there could be a workshop. Okay. TOC is done more like a workshop where people will be actually doing some exercises. So it's not a theoretical thing, and the person who is delivering it is actually a big leader of TOC. He has been running theory of constraint for many years, and he's a big expert on theory of constraint. So yeah, so that means it is run as a workshop where people do exercises and not as a theoretical training. In fact, most of our programs are run like workshops. Will it include a framework like DMAIC? That's another question which has come up. So two more questions. One, does it have a framework? Yes, it does have a framework. Okay, I'm not explaining the framework right now, but it does have a framework, which means it has a sequence of steps which we follow in theory of constraints. Second question which has come up is, will TOC help in service sector? Yes, in service sector. We will focus on service sector examples while delivering theory of constraints, and we'll connect with service sector throughout. Thirdly, is it a certification program? Yes, it is a certification program. In fact, all the workshops which I'm mentioning here are certification programs. Interestingly, the Master Black Belt program that we have actually is consists of 6 competencies, and these programs actually cover one competency or the other. They cover one competency or the other. Another question which has come up is it globally recognized? So globally recognized is one question which we will cover very soon, and this question I will be definitely covering at the end of the workshop. This is an important question, and we would like everyone to get absolute clarity on this. So I will be covering that question on whether TOC Thinker is globally recognized just at the end of this workshop, end of this webinar, sorry. So the next topic is the business modeling expert. This is a very powerful topic as well. So let's see what this is about. Business modeling. Business modeling is actually simulation, business simulation, which means you can simulate your business scenario by using a powerful simulation software and get some great decisions in a short period of time. So just to give you an example, let us say you are having some telecom connection and you know that Airtel is offering one scheme and Vodafone is offering another scheme, and your company has opted for Vodafone. Now, Vodafone has some fixed price, which is monthly. So in monthly, they'll offer you certain number of hours, and they also have some variable pricing. Similarly, Airtel has some fixed and some variable also, but the packages they offer are different from each other. Now, Airtel offers something, Vodafone offers something else. But how do you know whether Vodafone is actually better for your company? For that, you will have to take usage data for a few months and then understand the usage characteristics and then probably run a simulation. So interestingly, unless you run a simulation of, let us say, 10,000 times, which means once we understand the variability in usage and run simulation for 10,000 times, you will be able to see how much money you can save by opting for Vodafone or by opting for Airtel. So to be able to run these scenarios, we will have to use certain assumptions so that we can create certain powerful forecasts. Now, a decision like this might just save a company something like 5 to 10 lakhs per month. Now, you can imagine that one decision of change in telecom provider by running simulation can give you a saving worth 5 to 10 lakhs per month in a large company, which means simulation or business modeling can actually allow you to run various scenarios and see what is the impact of those scenarios on your business. So this approach of business modeling will be learning with 4 powerful case studies. So we'll be using 4 powerful case studies, which are very common in corporate world, commonly utilized, and it will actually help you in learning how to apply. So it does cover predictive modeling. Yes, it does. So I'm just looking at questions, and Ritvik has asked one question. Does it use SaaS software? No, we don't use SaaS software for this. We will be using another simulation software, but we will anyway be arranging a trial version, and it will be very powerful simulation software. We'll be using Monte Carlo simulation for this program, and it's going to be extremely powerful for people who are either in a decision-making situation or who are in a business improvement role. So if you are in a decision-making situation for certain important decisions for your company, or if you are in a business improvement role for your company, then this program is going to be very effective and powerful because it helps you to learn how to create models, simulation models, and run them for business decisions. So the main idea is business decisions for lower costs or better profitability. So just to give you an example, there is a company I know who has created a simulation model for profits, which means the company's profit has become a model. And once you have this model, you know that certain things in this model can go up and certain things can go down to a certain extent. And if you know the extent of variation in those variables, you can actually simulate and see which factor affects profit to what extent. So this is, of course, one of the most powerful applications of simulation for an organization. So Vidya Shankar is asking about iGraphics, whether iGraphics is being used in cross-functional modeling. No, this program will not use iGraphics. iGraphics is, in that sense, is more used for process mapping. We will be using another Monte Carlo simulation package, which is quite comprehensive in its use, and it is useful for wide variety of situations. So we can use simulation for marketing. We can use, so just to answer your question, we are not going to use iGraphics. So we'll be using for marketing, we'll be looking at the usage for operations, we'll be looking at usage for finance. We can consider usage for the business improvement projects. So if there's a master black belt, he would like to do a simulation for some of the projects, and that becomes a very powerful application too. So this is also a mechanism for master black belt, and this is also a compulsory module for master black belt program, business modeling. Okay, one of the competencies for master black belt. So one more question which has come, and I will take that up. Can we use this modeling for improving engineering design work efficiencies? So can we use it for engineering design work efficiencies? Yes, we can. So if I can simulate my engineering design in an effective way, where let us say my output for engineering design is either defect-free design or timely design. So if I consider timely design as my output, I can actually map the time taken by each element of engineering design and put it in a simulation model and run it. It can help in development process because you can convert DOE into a simulation also. DOE can be converted. In fact, in many companies, the result of DOE is being fed into a simulation software to get the final outcome. So yes, all this will be explained in detail in the workshop as well. But yes, if you still have questions pending, please keep writing them in the chat window. We will anyway cover them even after this session on a personal interaction. Okay, so thank you for those questions. Do we need prior knowledge? Now this, again, the interesting part for simulation is you do not need prior knowledge. So that's the interesting part, which means when I start this program, I will start absolutely from scratch, no prior knowledge. Okay, so we'll be taking up other questions separately later. I can see some more questions have come up, but I have to move to the next topic straight away for now. Next one is PM Champion. Now this is actually a project management champion, PM Champion, like you have, as you have the Lean Six Sigma Champion, PM straight away put the differences here. So one of the popular training is Project Management Professional from Project Management Institute. Benchmark Six Sigma is offering Project Management Champion, which is a smaller workshop. Now here, this covers the leadership perspective, while PMP covers a detailed perspective. PMP requires certain training hours and requires an exam for which you have to pay separately. PM Champion training plus exam happens in the same workshop. PMP requires mugging up. So there is an exam at the end which requires memorizing, because you need to remember many things, while Benchmark Six Sigma does not believe in memorizing. So we believe that just as your real life is open book, all exams should be open book. So Benchmark Six Sigma exams are always open book exams and no need to memorize. So if you understand the concepts well, you know how to apply them at the right time, or you know how to look up for the information to apply at the right place. That is good enough for PM Champion. And that's the main difference between PM Champion and PMP. Of course, the other thing is, as I said, PMP goes into a lot of details, but we will only cover the most important elements of project management. Again, this gives you a certificate as well, and most important elements will be covered, and we will not go into topics which are not commonly utilized in majority of sectors. So that's PM Champion, and I'm now going to move to the next one. I don't see any questions on this so far. So if you have any questions, please type them. PMP champion prerequisite for Master Black Belt. Yeah, so there is a competency. So out of the 6 competencies, one of them talks about PM champion. But if you have done any other project management course, then you don't need to go through PM champion. For example, if someone is a PMP, he does not need to do the PM champion. But if you have not gone through any project management course, then you need to go through PM champion program. Now, this is not a prerequisite, and because Master Black Belt program has certain competencies, and PM champion has some alternatives also for Master Black Belt. So someone may be doing PM champion because that suits his industry. Someone may be taking another module because that suits his industry. So you can have a look at the Master Black Belt structure, which has been created after a lot of thought, because not everyone is in a project situation in the industry. For example, IT is always into projects, and construction companies are always into projects. But many other industries, you may not be regularly into projects, and that is why some people need to go for other modules and not PM. So yes, that we can definitely cover separately. If you have a question, just mention it here so that we keep it in our record. So any project or any case studies for PM champion? No. This program will be based on conceptual learning, which will be tested at the end of the training itself, and we will not be looking for immediate application as a requirement for the certificate. Next, we move to, so PM champion is being offered in Bangalore and Chennai, and it's useful for people who are in project-based industry specifically, or if you have a role which relates to project management. And why? Because projects are everywhere and project skills are important. Okay, creativity and innovation is our next topic. For whom and why? So creativity and innovation practitioner is something which is a program which can convert an ordinary person into an inventor. So I would not say inventor, I would say inventive thinker. Now, the creativity and innovation practitioner program will give you methods and concepts on how to think so that you think in the same way as the inventors think. So you might be aware that inventors, people who invent, definitely have a different way of thinking, but that whole way of thinking has been converted into a science, and that's called the inventive thinking. And we will be covering inventive thinking in this program. So just to understand this some more clarity, so what is inventive thinking? So most of the situations in life, wherever you have a problem, there is actually a contradiction in most of the problems, which means, as an example, if you improve something, something will go bad. So if I reduce defects in my process, my timeliness will go bad. So that's a contradiction, which means when I try to improve one thing, another thing goes bad. Now, inventive solutions actually try to resolve the contradiction by creating a very different solution for the problem. So the contradictions create complexities. And to solve these contradictions, we need a different kind of thinking, we need a different kind of approach. So that is what is covered in this program with multiple examples. Good number of service and manufacturing examples. In fact, more of service examples will be shared, and you will be asked to try and solve. Once you learn, you'll be asked to try and solve the problem using the techniques, and you'll be able to see that you're able to solve some of the problems quite effectively in a short time. So anyone who wants to be a creative thinker or innovative, inventive thinker can go for this program. So if you want to be a creative or inventive thinker, you can go. This is a one-day workshop, and you will be able to learn techniques which you can apply for problem solving. So these methods can be used in improve phase of a Six Sigma project as well. And these methods can be used independently outside Six Sigma project for brainstorming or problem solving. So this program is being offered in Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi, and Bangalore, as you can see on the screen. Other cities may follow, but these are already planned on the calendar. Okay, so that was creativity and innovation practitioner, and I'm just seeing if there's any question. One question has already come. Any chances of having the creativity and innovation practitioner in Hyderabad? Okay. We have not yet scheduled it for Hyderabad, but we can look at that possibility in case there are number of inquiries, or if there are a few participants from a single company, we should be able to schedule a workshop with mutual convenient dates, and then it can become a calendar program. So depends on the inquiries, and if there are few inquiries for this program from Hyderabad area, we will definitely try to schedule it in Hyderabad. Next one is AHP practitioner. So analytic, hierarchical process. So this is a process or a sequence where you use logic and team thinking to solve problems where not much data is available and you want to use more of logic. So just imagine that there are two candidates for a job, and these two candidates are quite suitable. These two candidates are quite suitable, and you are still wondering whom to select out of these two. So one candidate is good in certain areas and very good in certain areas. The other candidate is very good in certain other areas and good in certain areas and has some one or two weaknesses as well. So how to really compare using a very logical team-based approach and systematically reach a good decision is what is covered in analytical hierarchical process. So this kind of situation, you know that there are candidates, you know something about them through a few rounds of interviews, but you just cannot know too much. So you have to use some probabilistic thinking where you will think that, okay, what are the chances of this person being successful in this kind of situation, in that kind of circumstance for this kind of challenge, let us say. So based on this kind of sequential thinking, creating criteria and comparing them for different parameters, you would like to reach a decision which is good for your company. So this is not just for interview process, it can be used in any situation where you have choices and you have criteria, but it's not easy to decide because it's a complex decision-making situation and you do not have huge amount of data, and it's not possible to get the right amount of data which you would like to get for decision making. So this is extremely powerful. This has been around for long, and analytical hierarchical process is being offered as a powerful workshop in Chennai for the first time in January 2015. And this one, again, so one question has come, is it a theoretical program? Absolutely not. In fact, none of the programs is theoretical. So what happens here is you are given a scenario and you are asked, here is a problem and how would you solve it? So when we ask you, how would you solve it? You provide your own methods, but then we tell you how AHP can be used. And then we do it in a team workshop setting where different teams, so let us say there are 3 teams, they've got trained on these techniques and they will try and solve these in their own way using AHP. So you actually apply AHP to a given problem in the workshop and see whether your solution is going on the right track and how it compares with others. So the expert facilitator will then explain how the AHP can be used most powerfully and how it can help you in decision making. So it's a completely hands-on, situation-driven scenario will be provided, exercise-driven program. Okay, so that's the AHP practitioner. Interestingly, all the programs are being offered in Chennai for the first time because we have our Master Black Belt in January 2015, and because of that, the programs are scheduled in Chennai as the first city for most of the programs. So any questions here? Just checking if there are any questions on this one. We are left with just about 10 minutes. Okay, no questions. So let's move to Business Excellence Champion. Business Excellence Champion is actually the core program for MBB. So this forms the MBB core, which means anyone going for Master Black Belt would consider this as the starting point of his program. So this will focus on things like how to create a roadmap for business excellence in an organization, how to create a structure for green belts, black belts, or small improvement teams in a company, how to support multiple projects at the same time, how to identify, monitor, support multiple projects. So it's that kind of position where the person, Business Excellence Champion, is the key person between top management and the business excellence team, let us say Lean Six Sigma team. So one side you have the top management, which has its own expectations. On the other side, there's a Lean Six Sigma team, which is equipped with their own techniques. And in the middle, there is the Business Excellence Champion, who has to understand both languages and help them communicate effectively and also deliver results for the top management. So that's where this is positioned, Business Excellence Champion, and it is for people who are heading either operations or quality, or people who are planning to head or who are heading business improvement or process improvement in the company, or who are looking for this kind of role in future. So if you're looking for a business improvement role, leadership role in a company, this may be the right program for you. So this provides you the leadership inputs for business excellence in a large company. So the facilitator for this is a person who has been deploying Lean Six Sigma or business excellence kind of programs across the organization and has got a lot of experience in this kind of role. So this, of course, can be attended as a part of Master Black Belt or even otherwise. In fact, all the programs are like that. So just to give you one idea, if you are doing any of these 10 competencies, depending on whatever makes sense for you right now, you are, of course, going to get a certificate for that competency, but you are also doing a partial fulfillment. So you are partially fulfilling the MBB criteria, which means if you do one competency, one program now, and you do another program after 3 months and one more after 4 months, then if you start putting them together, you are actually moving closer to the Master Black Belt qualification. So the MBB is actually a modular program, and these contribute towards Master Black Belt. And this one, as I said, is the core, which means this is an essential mandatory element of Master Black Belt program. So I'm just writing on the chat window any questions you have for Business Excellence Champion. So I'll just wait for a few seconds to see if there are any questions coming up. And if there are no questions, we'll move to the next one. Okay, so one question which has come up is, do we use Minitab for any of these programs? like lean practitioner. Okay, so business excellence champion will need some software, but not Minitab. It will need some deployment related software. For lean, we will not need Minitab, not required. Minitab is statistical analysis software used in Lean Six Sigma Green Belt and Lean Six Sigma Black Belt primarily. And for none of these programs, I can imagine the need for Minitab. So these will either have, for example, Business Excellence Champion will have a separate one, which is from Minitab group, but it's not the Minitab statistical software, but that's the software which helps you in deployment. So a different software, but yes, trial version will be provided to you. Does Business Excellence Champion cover financial aspects? Now, this is a very, very important question, and must thank Vidya Shankar for putting it forward. So I'm just putting his question on the screen. As you can see, it's coming up on the screen. So what Vidya Shankar has asked is this. Does Business Excellence Champion cover financial aspects? So the answer is absolutely yes. It will focus on net present value, internal rate of return, etc., and how to identify, how to estimate benefits of a project, how to do costing is one of the important elements of Business Excellence Champion. So yes, definitely covered and properly covered. That's the answer. Okay, so we are ready to move to the next one. And the next one is Strategic Management Thinker, SMT. Strategic Management Thinker is a program which is not yet on our calendar, but just to give you an overview, this program, in this program, what will happen is people will join, let us say, in 4 teams. Each team is like a company. So you might be company 1 or company 2, for example, and there may be 4 members in the company. Now, this company will be given a situation. In fact, all 4 companies will be given the same situation, and you have to make some decisions. So you make some decisions on behalf of your company, and then you will see whether your company actually benefits or does not benefit. So there's a possibility that your company makes losses because of your decision. There's a possibility that your company makes good profits because of your decision. So this program is going to help you in understanding cross-functional challenges of decision making, and also in understanding more about strategy, how to actually work with strategic management. So when you work with strategy of a company, you have to keep into account that when you make a decision in favor of operations, it might affect quality, for example, or when you take a decision in favor of operations and quality, it might affect your customers. So how to really balance your decisions in such a way that strategically the company is well placed. So it is for strategy, to learn about strategy management. These kind of topics are covered in most of the B schools, but this is a completely simulated environment where you are given scenarios and you have to really face challenges and take decisions, and through that you learn very fast. So that's the outline of Strategic Management Thinker, and I'm going to move to the next one very quickly because we have got only 5 minutes left now. So last one, Black Belt Simulation Project, is easy to understand. Some people have not done a project. So some people have done a Black Belt training earlier, but no project. But they want to, people who want to get practice on a Black Belt project. So what happens at the end of this workshop? You will actually get a simulation project to work on, and 2 days you have to actually, and then it will be supported activity. The facilitator will actually support you, guide you in this simulation. But most of it will be given as a challenge because you will be given examples of similar kinds, but you have to apply it in your situation yourself. So it's again a very practical situation, and you have to solve it with your team yourselves by using the right tools at the right time. So this will give you a project simulation, black belt simulation project completion certificate. So it gives you a BB project completion certificate at the end, and also gives you some good practice. And you learn about how to select the right tools for the right situation and how to actually draw conclusions. So that's how this program really works. So yes, any more questions we will be taking up separately, because we are just left with 2 or 3 minutes. So what is common in these programs? What is common is they all are related to decision making and problem solving. All these programs are related to leading change or improvement in an organization, and all of these programs lead to partial fulfillment of the Master Black Belt requirements. So we have got a reasonable idea about why these programs have been designed, for whom have they been designed. Of course, you can put more questions in the chat window if you have. They will be answered on a one-to-one basis. I will try to actually interact with many of you. Now, the question which we had skipped earlier, which was about global recognition, and that's a very important question which I will take up straight away. So the question was whether this is globally recognized. So all these programs are recognized not through a global body, because there's no global body recognized program currently being offered in India. So for example, Master Black Belt program is being offered by other company, some other organizations in India, and those who are offering it in India do not have any other global certification or recognition connected with them. The recognition comes from the company. So where does it come from? It comes from industry recognition. So if the company is recognized in the industry, it is considered a recognition by itself. And this is the highest form of recognition any company can have. So what do we really mean by this? So I'm going to put in your chat window a specific link which you can copy and paste for your own reference. So what you can see right now in the chat window is that I have put a link there, and which you can see later after this session. You can definitely go and view it. So in this link, you'll be able to see which all companies Benchmark Six Sigma has been associated with. So you will see a lot of multinational and leaders among MNCs where Benchmark has been doing programs, and these companies have recognized. And if you see the feedback, it's all there on those links. You won't find such a list of leading corporates with any other organization. So have a look at that, and probably that helps you understanding how industry recognition has a huge role, and if the program is recognized by the industry, it is better than any stamp which says globally recognized. And this link should give you an idea. So of course you can have a look at that link after we end the session. Right now we are just about to close our interaction for today. I'm just going to summarize what we did. Of course, we have gone through those 10 workshops, so I'm not going to look at the summary for that, but straight away, just as a parting tip, you can join our LinkedIn group. So to be active on discussions on Lean Six Sigma or business excellence, you may like to join Lean Six Sigma War Room. So this is the most active LinkedIn group right now, and this is moderated by me. So you can join this group and have some good debate out there. And there are a lot of interesting topics going on already. And we shall be having a good time in that group, I suppose. Of course, to visit our website and to see more details of these workshops, you can visit benchmark6sigma.com. So thanks for joining this workshop. Feel free to keep posting more questions if you have, because we'll take it up later. And thank you once again for joining this webinar, and hope you got some of your answers. And I would definitely get in touch with people individually, those who have posted questions and could not be answered here. Thank you for joining once again, and all the best to all of you.